are back. We are back. We are back. Brunch, A Taste of Tobago is on. I'm hoping that you guys are ready. I'm hoping that you have everything so that you can just sit and be a part of what we're doing. So my first guest, I'm looking forward to speaking with her. And I just want to say good morning to the division of food security, natural resources, the environment, and sustainable development. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of what we do on Brunch. And it gives me so much pleasure. I'm indeed honored to welcome my first guest, Miss Joanne Caruth, and, Senior Veterinary Officer, Animal Health. It's a wonderful thing, and it's something that we really need to really delve into and really touch on. So let me take the time to welcome you to Brunch, A Taste of Tobago. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. Happy to be here.
One of the things that sometimes we sweep under the carpet, animal health, animal life, provisions that need to be put in place and sometimes are not. And I know so many of our pet owners are looking on, so many of the populace is looking on. And, we just want to delve in as to the animal health unit. It's who is the animal health unit? And I think that's one of the questions that everyone would ask. So who are you?
Okay. The Animal Health Unit is the veterinary services unit within the division. And we basically see about the healthcare needs of the livestock population of Tobago. In the Tobago House of Assembly, the Tobago House of Assembly has responsibilities for agriculture, and livestock agriculture is part of that agricultural sector. So we are there to take care of the livestock healthcare needs of Tobago. We've been around for many, many decades. Our unit is a relatively small unit. It's headed by myself, the Senior Veterinary Officer, and we have 6 field veterinary officers as well as 3 animal health assistants, and we're supported by a small laboratory with a medical lab technician and a lab assistant, and we are based at Hope Farm within the Department of Agriculture.
Okay, and there you go. And one of your colleagues, he visited the set so many times. Dr.
Crooks.
Dr. Crooks, yeah, he visited, and we always have such a wonderful conversation. So I'm always excited for Mondays because I get to speak with agricultural enthusiasts, workers, and it's such a wonderful, wonderful experience. But if we had to speak on the basic organizational structure of the animal health unit, how would we describe that? How would you describe
As
it?
I alluded to, we're headed by the Senior Veterinary Officer, which is myself, and we have 6 veterinarians, 6 veterinary officers. That's the official title in the government veterinary services, and 3 animal health assistants. And they are posted in the various agricultural districts throughout Tobago. So throughout the length and breadth of Tobago, so that the Tobago farmers have easy access to us, right? Because we have vets servicing the agricultural districts along with the extension officers in the Department of Agriculture.
And what are some of the, because I'm thinking the components. Animal health is vast. It's a large area of care. So my mind goes to insemination. It goes to, those types of processes. You want to just touch on that just a bit?
Right. Along with seeing about the healthcare needs of the livestock population, we also have a laboratory, a small laboratory, veterinary laboratory, and the artificial insemination unit. At this time, it is staffed by 2 artificial insemination technicians and one of our veterinarians, Dr. Sheldon Bovell. He's in charge of that section. And basically, it's an extension service, an ambulatory service, where they go out upon receiving calls for farmers for requests to inseminate their animals. And at this time, we're doing rabbits and pigs, but we hope to expand in the not too distant future to resume insemination in our ruminants, such as our cattle, sheep, and goats.
Yeah, and It's like providing. It's like you do so much more than just be there for animals. It's like you're providers because the components that you just described really speaks to not just animal health or animal husbandry, or it speaks more to animal care. And that's like a whole other vibe right there. Animal care. Let's touch on animal care. Now, you just mentioned livestock. Just go into some of the other components. You have livestock, you
Well,
have
basically, yes. Well,
rabbits.
basically, it's about livestock because it's agriculture, and
Right.
livestock meaning food-producing animals. So we're talking about the cattle, the sheep, the goats, the pigs, the rabbits, the chickens, the ducks, and basically, farmers will call into our offices and request the service. So we provide a range of healthcare for a variety of issues, whether they be reproductive. For example, in pigs, we get a lot of calls on pigs. Sometimes a mother gives birth, a sow, an adult female pig is called a sow. They will give birth and they don't have any milk. So we come along and try to assist with that. Sometimes it's because the mother has an infection of the other and is not producing milk properly. So we treat with that, or we give a hormone that will assist with the milk letdown. We also have another major area where our services are required is when you have traumatic injuries. Sometimes you have a lot of fighting, especially between the male animals, and they have cuts and bruises and fractures that need to be mended. So we take care of those as well.
Right.
Deworming or gastrointestinal parasite control is a major area for us because animals don't necessarily eat at a table. I mean, I'm being trivial here, but
Yes.
they would pick up parasites in the environment, whether it be in the pen or whether it be on the grass, the pasture that they feed on, that they graze on. So they do pick up parasites, and we have two major parasites, type of gastrointestinal parasites. Those are the worms, similar to what parents would deworm their children
Yes.
from, worms and coccidia. And we have to be careful here. It's always good to call your veterinarian if you believe your animal is not doing well and it may have a gastrointestinal parasite, and it's important to do that. Diagnosis is important there because the two broad areas of parasites, the worms and the coccidia, they're treated differently. Worm medication does not kill coccidia, that type of parasite, and the coccidia medication does not kill worms. So it's important to call on your veterinary officer, so that we can diagnose appropriately by taking samples to the laboratory. We have a small laboratory, and what we can't manage, we would send to our sister lab in the Ministry of Agriculture in Trinidad, and we're able to diagnose some of these diseases. Yes.
This is so wonderful because I'm thinking that I never got the chance to really delve in to animal care and the animal unit and just how much you guys do. It's so much because I'm sitting and I'm listening to you, and there is an immense responsibility that you guys undertake.
Yes,
Yeah.
because in the law, actually, in the Animal Diseases Act, the government veterinary services is responsible for protecting and preventing a number of major diseases that can be devastating to animal production, and
Yes.
hence that all-important good of food security. As you know, governments are important in providing what we call a public good, and food security is a public good. Our division, the name itself leads off with that, the division of
Yes.
food security.
Yes.
So we also, in livestock agriculture is about livestock production. And when we say production, we necessarily talking about births and giving births to offspring, etc., so that you can increase in numbers. And we've been very fortunate. In a not too distant future, I would say by next month, we would be receiving our new ultrasound machine. The one we had before is in a state
Right.
of disrepair, so that we're able to do some reproductive work, do some pregnancy diagnoses, as well as check the health of the reproductive structures, such as the ovaries and so on, because the ovaries produce follicles. The ultrasound will tell us whether the ovaries are healthy and producing their follicles, because without follicular development and production, you can't have ovulation, and without ovulation, you can't have fertilization and conception, which gives you birth. So that's important.
And I absolutely love the way you speak. I love the way your language is so descriptive. So you're speaking with me, and I'm able to see what it is that this should look like or this should sound like. And that's a wonderful thing, because when you're coming to really speak on a subject or speak on a topic, then you must represent what you're coming to speak about, represent your office, represent your institution, and represent basically what you do. So I came off the topic there for a while, because I'm sitting and I'm listening to you, and I'm saying, wow, this is so vivid. I'm actually, seeing this so clearly. But what is the conversation like with regard to animal health, animal care, with regards to the division, the conversation with the policymakers or the stakeholders or the influencers? What's the conversation like with regards to animal care in agriculture? Are we moving in a positive direction, or is there still much work to be done?
Well, there's work to be done, as with anything, but we are moving in a positive direction. If I may say, we have recently been granted approval to construct a new veterinary laboratory, diagnostic laboratory. So we're
Right.
looking forward to that. And that will enhance our diagnostic capabilities and abilities. And as we
Yes.
say, because we are responsible for animal care, and disease recognition and detection is a large part of that. So enhancing our diagnostic ability will allow for prompt diagnosis of some of the diseases. And prompt diagnosis would lead to prompt treatment and management. And like I said, you can have very devastating diseases which can affect animal production, and you have significant losses, whether it be through morbidity or mortality, meaning ill health and death. And if you can get to some of these diseases, prompt diagnosis, and advocate for prevention and control, then we're better off, because we won't sustain those agricultural losses, which can negatively affect agricultural production.
Yeah, and we're gonna take a break. This is such an interesting conversation. So I can't just do one segment with you. I'm so sorry if I'm keeping you, but I want to come back. We're gonna come back. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna be right back with Brunch, a taste of Tobago. We're gonna be speaking some more with Dr. J on animal health, animal clinic, animal care, you name it, and we've got it right here on Brunch, a taste of Tobago. We'll be right back, guys. We are back with Brunch, a taste of Tobago. I was just having a wonderful conversation with Dr. J. I since named her that. I tend to do that from time to time, and we're talking so much about the importance of animal care, the importance of animal husbandry and health, and everything that we delved into. So welcome back. What one thing that I noticed, and I've been wanting to ask for a long time, in terms of farmers, are there ground rules or general points of information that they should abide by as animal caretakers? Let's delve in there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, the division affords a number of training courses at our training arm, the Kendall Farm School, and we would always advocate that the farmers participate. Invitations are sent out, because there's where we deliver information on animal care. And indeed, as an ambulatory service, when the veterinarians go out, because that's how we operate, it's an ambulatory field service, farmers will call into the office, and then we go out to assist them. There's some things that we always advocate. Don't wait until your animal is on its last legs.
Oh,
It's been
yes.
sick for few days or to a week before you look to call us, because sometimes the illness has progressed so far along that there's hardly anything we can do. Remember, a disease process can damage organ systems. And if you wait too long to call, because we're like I said, we offer a public good. Food security is a public good.
Yes,
and a public good
indeed.
by definition is affordable. So we're quite affordable. Right? People might be surprised of how affordable we are, but we are an affordable service. It's highly subsidized by the THA and the government in general, because the same happens in the Ministry of Agriculture. So please call us. Please call us when you notice something wrong. You may just have to chat with your vet and they may give you some advice. Another issue that we're concerned about, which we would wish our farmers would do, is just make sure that you when you're administering medication to your animals, sometimes, because you can just go to some of the agro or pet shops and purchase medications.
Right.
Read the label, read the instructions, what dosage to give, what route to give it by, because unfortunately we have had some stories where some farmers may give injectable medication orally by the mouth and vice versa.
Oh,
Give
yes.
medication by the mouth via injection, because they can purchase some of the syringes and so on at some of the pet stores. So read your medicine labels carefully, and please feel free to call on your veterinarians or animal health officers as the animal health assistants if you have any questions at all. The service is there for you. It is for a public good. We want to stress that. We want to stress that. And always ask for advice. And it's been, I want to say, with climate change, this is another serious don't. With climate change, where the temperatures are soaring, getting hotter and hotter, very frequently we have temperatures in excess of 33 degrees. Don't tie your animals out, like sheep and goat in particular,
yeah.
out in the open without any opportunities for shade. Tie them near a shade tree so that they can go and have shade, because animals, just like people, can suffer from heat stress.
Oh,
and
yes.
it can be lethal. No, it can be lethal. And make sure they always have access to clean water, and as well make sure that there are no obstacles in the vicinity where you've tied them, so that they don't get entangled, because sometimes the rope goes around the leg and it's there so long for an entire day, it cuts off the circulation, and the circulation is compromised. And if it's there long enough, the tissues that are distal or just below where the rope is, they start to, for want of a better word, die off. And there's nothing you can do to save that leg except amputate it. So those are some of the things we see that are preventable.
And do you see, what about our youth? Do you see any rise in youth getting involved in agriculture?
Yes, we generally have a mix of farmers, both I don't want to say old, but more mature farmers and some of the young farmers. We generally have a mix. There's money to be made in agriculture. There's money to be made in agriculture. Like I said, it's about food security. Of course, you have the economics of it all. You produce food, but at what price? That's also important. And I think TADCO, our special purpose company of the division, they're flying the flag of agribusiness and agri-entrepreneurship to encourage persons to get involved in agribusiness with their various initiatives. So, for example, the poultry initiative and the other initiatives that they do have, so that youth can find a viable source of income with agriculture.
You know, it's a wonderful thing. I always say that I love doing this show because I get to have those discussions that I may not have had I not been doing this show. And this is just one of those times. How do we contact you? Because I know so many people are looking on, and it's such an interesting conversation. I know, and you know, if I was looking, I would be like, okay, how do I get on to the animal unit? So how do we contact you if we have any concerns or questions?
Right. So our office is located at Hope Farm. Some farmers journey to the office and visit us, but we have a telephone contact. The original contact is 660-2008, but it's down for a little while. We're happy that our service provider, TSCT, are trying to help us along that way. And they've installed a temporary number, 660 2434. So at this time, we can be contacted there, 660-2434. But hopefully the original number, which most of the farmers know, will be up soon. And then we are located at Hope Farm. So you can also contact the Hope Farm main office, which is where they sell breeding stock to livestock, 660-2108.
Okay.
So 660-2108 and 660-2008.
Right. And let's just get off of the topic for a while, because that's just how I do things sometimes. I'm looking at you and I love your ensemble. I love the way you put your colors together. So kudos to you. And also, if you had to say something to the viewers, if you had to inspire someone today, what would you say?
Animal agriculture, and in particular what we do, livestock agriculture, is a public good because it's about food security. And most of the public, I think, I remember, I'll give a little story. One of my colleagues in Trinidad was being interviewed many years ago from the ministry, a vet. I think they were acting senior vet at the time, a journalist of high repute, long standing. And when she brought up, what did they do? She said, yes, we see about cattle and sheep. And he was like, cattle, cows, they need vets too? Yes, they do. It's not, and he thought, I thought it was just dogs and cats. So the veterinary section in the animal health unit is important, along with the artificial insemination. You may be surprised at how we can assist, because sometimes just a word of advice can change the health of your animals and enhance your production immensely. We've seen it happen over the years. I've been a vet for over 20 years and I've seen it. So please feel free to call us. We are here to help. It's about the public good.
And which brings me to World Food Day just went, How was that for you?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I must admit, we were a little apprehensive, some of us, about going to a smaller venue, but it turned out to be really great. I mean, most of our stakeholders, if not all, were represented there, whether it's the farmers, those involved in marketing, general administration, agro-tourism, agribusiness. It was really, really, for my part, it was really, really wonderful. Those who would have planned, and kudos to the committee who would have worked really hard and for months, I think 7-8 months. I think they started in March of this year to put things together, because it's one of the largest events on the Tobago calendar.
Yes, it is.
And well supported.
Yes. And one of the things that I really looked forward to, there was so much that was implemented. So it wasn't just the regular celebration that we were all accustomed to. And so with implementation, you see that, okay, there are initiatives that are coming on board. And I was particularly pleased with the initiatives. The Lamb Fest was wonderful. It was such a refreshing twist, a refreshing change, and it was so wonderful. Also, I had to speak on the poetry competition that was implemented as well, and you got the youth involved, and I'm an advocate for the youth. I say that with no apologies. I am an advocate for the youth, especially when they are doing wonderful things, when they are being positive. Let's highlight that. Let's not just show the students fighting in school and having, that kind of negativity painted on our youth. So I was particularly pleased with the implementation of the poetry. I hope that it goes on from strength to strength. Yeah.
And all because of agriculture. So it's not just about digging in the dirt or rearing animals. Agriculture is all encompassing, as you so highlighted by the various exhibits and activities of the World Food Day.
Definitely.
And we're glad that the public was able to get a taste of it, because like I said, it's one of the largest events. So the public is able to come and walk through and enjoy the exhibits that the committee had worked so hard to put up.
Yes.
Sometimes so hardworking secretary to, who would have given her ideas to have us implement some of those new and interesting initiatives that you spoke of.
Definitely. Well, it's such a pleasure being with you today. I absolutely enjoyed our conversation. I'm hoping that it's not the last one. I'm hoping that you're back and you become a staple of the Brunch family, because I love having the types of conversations that are so informative yet entertaining. So it's not just coming to talk about something or speak on a topic. You're actually delving in to any and everything that has to deal with said topic. And that's a wonderful thing. So we just want to thank you so much for being a part of Brunch. Thank you for talking with us. Thank you for sitting with me. And thank you for your wonderful energy and positive personality.
Yes. Well, thank you. Glad to be here. And like I said, we hope the public recognizes that agriculture is important and there's a space and a place for everyone in agriculture.
Yes, and we are very, very blessed to have, dedicated workers in the agricultural sector, because Lord knows we need you guys. We need you so much. So from our family to yours, we say blessings to you. We say peace, love, and light. And of course, success in whatever you endeavor to do.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. Guys, we're going to be right back. But before I do that, let me just mention our trivia question. There is a sunken artificial reef in the waters of Speyside. What is the name of that reef? The answer at the end of the show. We'll be right back with Brunch, a taste of Tobago. See you guys soon.